What's up everyone, welcome back to the channel and to another weekly 3D model. This week we are going to be making a small spooky scene because this Tuesday happens to be Halloween. So I randomly got this idea to create a small scene showing two sides of a front door. One side showing scratches in the door saying don't let them in with a bunch of locks just trying to keep something out. And on the other side in the hallway having bloody hands on the walls and on the carpet. Maybe zombies or spirits, not exactly sure what we're trying to keep out, but either way it's spooky and it should be a lot of fun to create. So I jumped on Google Images and found a few random photos for reference that I thought would be fitting for the scene, and then we could start blocking things out. This week's video is just going to be a time-lapse speed modeling type of video, but of course this whole video will be available in real time along with all of the working files. So if you're interested in checking any of that out, it will all be available on my Patreon page, which will be linked in the description below. I'm also planning on doing a lot more live streaming for my patrons, so if you're looking for more real-time narrated videos, there will be lots more coming to my Patreon page in the coming weeks. And also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you like these kinds of videos and want to see more random weekly 3D models. Alright, so back to the video, we are going to start blocking out those main shapes and start building up our scene. Now this week was a little difficult for some reason. As many of you artists out there probably know, some weeks are better than others, and this past weekend I had a bit of artist block. I just had a tough time making decisions and choosing what I want. I wasn't exactly sure how I wanted to position things and what objects to add, so I was more or less just winging it, so we'll have to experiment a little bit along the way to figure out exactly what we want our scene to look like. So you'll see at the end I actually decide to add a few extra small objects to the scene. We'll go over that more later in the video, but for now let's just focus on those main objects like the floor, walls, and the front door, and then we can move on to other things after. Alright, so here is our small scene in its finished form. So as you can probably tell, there's a few extra objects I decided to add, and I not only added them at the end of the modeling, but I actually came back after the texturing was done to add a few other objects. So the first one being this picture frame. Originally this actually wasn't here, as you can tell, but the wall was just looking a little bit too plain, and I thought we should add a few more elements on the inside of our apartment just to make it more interesting and fun to look at. So the first thing that crossed my mind was a small picture frame. Now I simplified it, made it pretty straightforward, and hopefully it's just going to be more fun and interesting. Now another small object I decided to add was this small side table and the knife. So this actually wasn't here at all throughout the whole texturing process along with the knife. But after I was done and I was looking at it, once again, it was just looking too plain, especially because the hallway, there's not much going on, that I thought just for some reason there should be some more objects on the inside. Once again, just the main reason just to be more fun to look at. So I really quickly added this side table, and this is extremely simplified. It's just a few rectangles that I just basically beveled and just 2 spheres for the knobs, but it's not the main focus at all, so I didn't want to really draw anyone's attention to it. It's more or less just to fill in this empty space, and I thought just really simplified knife would be fitting as well. Since we're going to have some carvings into the door, I thought you could just reference the knife to the carvings. Maybe they carve those words with the knife. Once again, a few extra elements to make it more fun. So what I decided to do originally was break this thing off into 3 different groups for the 3 different textures. Now, by the time I added this small side table, I just didn't have much room in my UV map, and I didn't want to rework everything since I'm doing this on a Sunday, so I just thought, what the hell, we'll just create another group and create another texture just for this table to make our lives easy. So on the very first group and texture are just the walls. So I tried to keep everything related to the walls as well, so I did add the picture frame, the doormat, as well as these little like boards on the very bottom and the vent. Obviously making sure everything is straight in my UV map, that way it's just really easy to apply textures and the materials don't look all warped. And I did want this to take up a large place in my UV map just because I'm going to have some nice textures. I want to have some nice materials on those wood panels on the floor, and I thought just the larger they take up the space, the more resolution I'm going to have to work with. Second group and texture are just the locks. And I decided to add a few extra elements, so just the outside, the hallway light, the bat, and the little hooks on the wall. Once again, I added this knife at the very end. I just kind of squished it into some empty places, but originally the knife actually wasn't part of this whole model. And the third group and texture is the door. So the front and the back door. Now I had to make sure that these were 2 separate UV shells because I wanted to have different textures on each. This one having all the blood and this one just having the carvings. So I wanted the carvings to take up as much space as possible. That way I have a lot of resolution to work with, and hopefully it just doesn't look too pixelated. So that's why I thought just keeping the doors on their own texture would just make sense. That way I have more room to work with my UV map, and I'm not going to really struggle about getting those details. And then like I said, this was looking a bit too plain, and I just quickly added this table. Added it so fast I didn't even actually straighten the shell, which I probably should have. And as you can see, I didn't even rotate any of these shells, which I probably should have spent a bit more time, but I rushed it just very quickly. I honestly wasn't even planning on doing this. I just did it to visualize it. I wasn't going to add it in the video, and then once I added it in the scene, I thought it looked cool, and I thought I would just keep it for the final render. Let me know what you think, if that's something that you thought I should add or maybe leave out. But that's basically everything. That is how I structured this whole scene with all of those UVs. Once again, if you're interested in actually seeing all of the UV mapping process, that will be in the real-time video, which I am going to be uploading to my Patreon page. So if you're interested in checking that out, it will be in the link in the description below. All right, so now let's export this small front door apartment scene, and we can jump into Substance Painter and we can start texturing. Alright, so now jumping over to Substance Painter, we can go ahead and load in our FBX that we exported from Maya. Now once again, I wasn't exactly sure how I was going to tackle all these textures. I am going off of those reference photos that I linked at the beginning of the video, but I really didn't have any specific direction I was working towards. So we're more or less just gonna wing it along the way. I did use a lot of materials that I found on the Substance Source website. They had some really cool textures for those wall textures, especially the wood panels on the floor. And I thought it'd just be fun to use different materials that we don't usually use that come with Substance Painter. So this should be free for everyone that has a Substance account. They should be available for download for free. So check that out. There's tons of materials that you can use to add to your library. And there are a few that I am going to use for this project. Other than that, everything else I just basically wing. So I just grab different smart materials and random materials just to fill in those empty meshes like we usually do, and then we can just come back and refine things afterwards. It's always difficult when you don't have a specific direction you're working towards, and the whole process would have been a bit easier, I believe, if I planned it out a bit more, which you probably should. But it's also fun just to kind of dive into it and just experiment and have fun along the way. So since it's Halloween, I wasn't trying to stress too much and just have fun making this whole spooky hallway scene. Anyways, let's just continue on with those textures, start filling in these empty meshes with materials, and hopefully we can create something that looks a little bit spooky in the end. All right, and that is everything. That is the whole texturing and modeling process that I did to create this spooky hallway apartment scene. I really hope you guys enjoyed this week's video, and if you did, smash that like button and don't forget to subscribe to see more random weekly 3D models. And as always, a really huge thank you to all of my Patreons. You were all amazing, and I can't thank you enough for your continuous support. And if you're interested in seeing this video in real time, as well as the whole UV mapping process, along with all of the working files, all of it will be uploaded to my Patreon page, which you can find in the link in the description below. Once again, a really big thank you for tuning into this week's video. Happy Halloween, and I will see you all in the next one.